I've been telling stories in some shape or form for a decade and a half now. I mean, professionally and formally, I guess you'd say, because technically everyone's been telling stories since they could first move their hands, right? A baby wants to do something, right? Whatever. That's not the point. But and I think in those years, in the early years when I was learning how to tell stories and I was trying to tell stories, I think the most important analogy or lesson that I learned might be from my first mentor, Clodoaldo del Mundo Jr., who likened the act of telling stories to the act of conducting an orchestra, right? A lot of people don't realize, or maybe you do, it's generalizing, I'm trying to cover my ass, CYA, but a lot of people do generalize and think that the conductor only conducts the orchestra. And Sir Doy always reminded me that the conductor isn't just conducting the orchestra. He's also conducting the emotion of the audience, right? He wants the feeling of the audience to go up, down, stagnate, up, down, and like that. It has to flow a certain way, right? That's what he's really conducting. Because who is the music for? Right? It's for the audience. It could be like a personal thing, and then you feel those emotions. You're still conducting the emotions up and down, right? So that's what Sir Doy taught me about storytelling. You should be able to conduct the emotion of the audience, regardless of medium. Poetry, novels, short stories, short films, feature films, ads, campaigns, regardless of what it is, you should be able to, or you want to, be able to conduct the emotion of the audience, right? It's for them, it's for the viewer. And I think that might be the best framework that I've ever heard of for storytelling. I didn't realize until today that Sir Doy got it from someone else, and he also just so happens to be one of my favorite authors of all time, Kurt Vonnegut, who has his framework of shapes of stories, right? The different types of stories, right? Because I like this graph form a lot more than the story circle, the hero's journey, or the pyramid, the mountain, whatever, right? Because it feels more malleable, it feels more flexible, and it feels a lot more. It feels a lot more like you can have control as a conductor. Conductors don't just build, right? Most of these frameworks want you to build, climax, stagnate, build, right? The thing with Doy del Mundo's framework, and I guess technically also Kurt Vonnegut's, because it kind of came from him first, is that it dips. So the graph goes, this is good fortune, bad fortune, right? And then on the horizontal line, you've got time. So you can start your story wherever. It could be at the bottom where there's bad fortune, the top where there's good fortune, or in the middle where it's stagnant, or somewhere in between. It's a spectrum, right? And then the way you, as a storyteller, your job is to have the story traverse and hit certain beats and peaks and valleys throughout this graph, and to be able to tell a good story. I think that's the best way to try to understand how to tell a story, and I think that might be the best way to kind of dissect a script or a novel, like a written work, um, or a movie, right? Because you're able to see in real time, or at least be privy to a preview of how the audience, or how you want the audience to receive it, right? It it isn't just like, the reason why I bring this up is I don't want it, or I've seen too many stories told in the matter of fact, almost verite, right? It's an and then, right? He picks up the locks, and then he goes outside, and then he does this, and then he gets hit by a car, and then, like, that's not a bad way to tell a story. It's not a wrong way to tell a story, but it's not compelling, right? To tell a compelling story and to be able to manipulate, sorry, to be able to conduct the emotions of your audience, you have to have an understanding of the story beats that you want to hit, right? Our character arrives in the city. She's from the province, right? So there's, oh wow, it's a whole, God, this is gonna be like me thinking in real time, because there's gonna be like a whole quadrant, right? These are dotted lines here. These ones are solid lines. Dotted lines are everything that brings the fuck. This is an amazing framework that I'm just coming up with. So everything be on this side of the quadrant, you have dotted lines, right? It's the backstory of your characters. It's the backstory of of the setting, right? Be it the city, the main character, the side character, the extra. It's what actors, directors, and writers do. They don't necessarily have to write it down on the page, but they think about it, right? They imply it. They have a character battle card or character sheet that tells the full story of the character that isn't necessarily going to be on the page, but it's told through the performance, through the movement of the camera, through foreshadowing, breadcrumbs, right? These are the things that are in the dotted lines. And once you build that up, that's going to be the basis for how the story that's being told in the solid lines will flow. Wow. So each character will have their own line to see, so we can visually graph their journey and how we want the audience to feel during that part of their journey, right? We have a main line, the main line of the movie, of the script, of the story, right? Which will go up and down, right? And it can create contrasts when, let's say, character A, MC, and character B, let's say, antagonist, protagonist, antagonist. Antagonist is life is down here, protagonist is stagnant, right? But the story is up here. So there's a disconnect. Maybe you want to have that disconnect. Maybe there's that effect, that contrast, that juxtaposition that you want to do, right? Or you maybe want to put like a parallel thing, right? Everyone's lives are down here, character A, character B down here, and then you've got the movie itself is also down here. It's got a dip. So the movie is following the emotion of the character. Or again, it could be opposites. It could be opposites where character A is up here, movie arc is down here, right? It kind of like, why are we happy? Why is our character happy, and why are we meant to be happy when the movie itself or the story itself is trying to be sad? Maybe that's what you want, maybe that's not what you want, and that's a disconnect, right? Maybe it's also about the performance. Oh my god, this is a good breakdown. Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay, this is amazing. All right, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to go pick up Ducky. This is good.